Okay, so I've been building an online business since 2020, and there are a few things that I could look back and say, yeah, I should have done that differently. My name is Tiffany, and on this channel, I document the journey of building an online business in Trinidad and Tobago, which is in the Caribbean. And I want to share with you 5 pitfalls to avoid in starting and running an online business. Number 1 is over analyzing. I can't tell you how much I researched and think and overthink and thought, went to sleep, get back up, research some more, and then sat down and analyze and develop a whole plan, then saw something else and sat down and analyze and developed a whole other plan for that. And I remember it was in 2019 I started watching YouTube videos in general about making money online, which opened me up to the whole prospect of generating extra income, which I was in desperate need of, right? The first idea that resonated with me was actually blogging, and I was all on the blogging train. I was going to become a blogger. I was going to have a website that had a blog, and I was going to do all the things to create great content, drive traffic to the website, monetize with Google ads and affiliate marketing, and all the other things eventually. That's what I was gonna do. The second idea was YouTube, and I had this big, tall, thick, long notebook on both ideas, on blogging and on YouTube, and I was just kind of bouncing between the two ideas, and eventually I had to kind of jolt myself out of it and pick one. And this leads me to the second point, which was being afraid of investing money. So I ended up choosing YouTube because after all of my over analysis, right, it was quite evident and quite clear that a significant investment would have to be made to start a blog versus start a YouTube channel. I could just pick up my iPad, as I have done, and film and record YouTube videos, whereas I would have to buy a domain, buy hosting, buy a theme, develop the website, so most likely buy a course to teach me how to do that, and I would have to pay for email marketing software, and I didn't know at the time, but I know now, an actual professional email. I would have to pay for that, and I was also going to pay for a Pinterest marketing scheduling software, and I was going to pay for a few ebooks, and together with learning materials for the course that I was going to buy. So that was a significant upfront investment, and I had tallied all the things up. And then when I looked at starting a YouTube channel, I was like, I don't need to get anything really. So I was afraid to make that initial investment financially in starting my first business venture, and I wish I wasn't so afraid, because when I eventually started spending money, investing in myself and investing in my business, it has tremendously helped with the growth and development of not only my own skill set, but to where my business is, well, within my business, to bring it to where it is today. And this leads me into the third point, was not trusting my gut. Because when I was looking into the different ways to make money online, my gut feeling was telling me that I definitely needed to go the blogging route, right? I wasn't too keen on going the YouTube route because, one, I was deathly afraid of creating videos and putting myself on camera. That's number one. Number two, there was no clear path to monetization, as I would have discussed in other videos you would have seen on my channel, that in my country, we are not eligible for YouTube monetization. We are not on the list of eligible countries for the YouTube partner program. So monetizing through YouTube directly was never a possibility. And so I would have needed to do extra things in order to monetize my channel, which would then inform me that I would need to actually create an online business, right? Which is what I did. And everything kind of led back to the first idea that I had, because literally right now I am gearing up to start writing blog posts. So it's like everything came full circle. So definitely trust your gut, because sometimes your gut, or most times, your gut is going to lead you where you were going to go in the first place, and you probably could have like lessened the path, right? Which is a great segue into the fourth point, which is taking too many detours. So everybody has their own path to a profitable business, right? Everybody is going to go through different challenges, and everything happens for a reason. I do believe that. So some of the things that even I have gone through in my journey, I would say I don't regret it. Yes, hindsight is 2020, but I don't regret it, because for example, this YouTube channel, I could easily see myself not even ever starting a YouTube channel if I had started a blog first, because I would have never kind of jolt myself and give myself the kick in the pants to just sit down and start recording and start getting comfortable talking to camera. And video now is definitely a must in your online marketing strategy for your online business. And I would have had an even tougher time, especially if I started to see results with just blogging and not having to present myself on video. I would have talked myself out of starting this YouTube channel and gave myself all the excuses in the world not to start doing this, right? In that instance, yes, I took detours, which would have been starting a YouTube channel instead of starting with the blog, only to go all the way back around to now starting a blog this year, 2 years later. And there are other things that I would have done that I would see with detours, like for example, just like learning new skills and trying out like maybe too many platforms and trying to learn new platforms, and definitely taking on new ideas. Yeah, so I literally like fleshed out a whole idea of starting a whole new YouTube channel all around one of my hobbies, and I kind of convinced myself that I could make it like a profitable hobby, not so much a full-fledged online business, even though for most that's what they want it to be. But I really don't have the mindset, still don't have the mindset, working on it, that something that I view as a hobby that isn't really traditionally, especially locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, a route where you can do that for a living. It's just not something that is a route or a well-known route to successfully making a living, right? So suffice to say, I still and back then viewed it as a hobby that maybe I could make profitable, but mostly a hobby. But I still went and did all the research and fully fleshed out the idea I had, like, okay, this is the topic or the realm of topics that I'm going to focus on. I had like a lot of content ideas, then I had like marketing strategies with social media platforms I would use, the mediums that I would use. So am I doing just purely streaming, or am I doing video content? Am I doing any written content? Like, I went through like all the possible channels and I really fleshed out the idea. And then I realized I can't focus on that and build an online business and do my full-time job. Like, it's just too many things. Yes, I want to do it, and yes, there is some time I could squeeze in, but I can't go full force towards it. Like, and I need to treat it as literally something that isn't priority, because then I would be taking time away from what it is I really want to accomplish. And what I really want to accomplish is have a business that would generate enough revenue so that I don't have to go work in a full-time job that I'm not necessarily quite happy with, right? And so in that sense, you really need to stay focused and not be going off into different directions, even if just in the planning and research phase, because that is time that could be spent on planning and researching further avenues within your own business. And the last and final pitfall or mistake that you'd want to avoid is consuming too much content or over consuming content. And this content could both be free and paid, right? Because I not only use free content and free resources, but I also have taken and bought courses and also joined memberships that help me in the growth of my business. And I have been very much a person who I did buy courses and have not delved into it at the same time, but so far all of the courses that I have purchased, I have consumed a significant portion of it, even if I didn't finish all of the aspects. And what I mean by aspects, most of these courses, they usually have their main thing and then they have like bonuses. Like, I may not have consumed all of the bonuses, but I definitely would have done like the main aspect of it, of what I bought it for. So for example, I purchased like a course on YouTube, because YouTube, like I would have alluded to earlier, was what I chose to go down instead of blogging in the beginning of my business. And so I wanted to make sure that I was investing into that heavily, and to make sure that I'm not spending a lot of time doing the wrong things. And so I went through the main part of that course, but there are a lot of supplementary courses to that course that I have not gone through as yet, but the main gist of it I was able to get. And so there are other memberships and other courses that I have purchased, but I haven't been able to go through all of that content because before I ripped off the band-aid and actually started purchasing and investing in my business, I had developed the habit of consuming a bunch of YouTube videos from persons that I found online that I grew to know, like, and trust, right? So I still tune into their YouTube videos and some of them their podcast episodes, and I always make it a habit to keep abreast with the information and the content that they are creating to help me continue to grow as a business owner. And then that in turn kind of affects the time that I have to actually consume the lessons that I have paid for, which is you would think that's defeating the purpose, right? So that's why I'm saying that you can't get too caught up in consuming content, and especially when you should be creating content for yourself and for your own business. So you need to, I would say, try to block out some of the noise, and especially if you are like me and you have memberships and courses that you paid for, try to work through that, put that as priority, and make sure you get the return on the investment in terms of whatever type of content you are consuming. And this goes for free as well. Put a cap on how much content you're going to consume, and are you implementing what you are learning? Because if you're not implementing what you're learning, then whether it's free or paid, it's not going to serve you. There are a lot of free things that you could work through it and implement it and get the results. I basically built my first website using a YouTube video, right? So, and when I wanted to level up, I joined a membership to get it to the point of where it is now. And so those are the things you need to really think about and consider, and you don't want to be wasting precious time over consuming content. So I alluded to this mistake I made earlier, and I actually rectified it 18 months later after starting my business. And I talk all about this in the video coming up next, and I'll see you over there.